A heartbreaking news is coming on your home. The one who hurt you is my precious one. I need you to pause the frantic racing of your mind, take a deep, grounding breath, and listen very carefully to what the universe is revealing to you today. Not with the surface layer of your conscious thoughts, not with the part of your mind that is already scanning for reasons to dismiss what I am about to share with you, but with the deepest, most ancient chamber of your heart, the part that already knows things before words are ever spoken. That quiet, wise center within you has been waiting for this moment. It has been patient through every storm, every sleepless night, every morning you woke up and had to convince yourself to keep going. That part of you already recognizes the energy of what is coming. So breathe, be still, and truly listen. Right now, an incredibly heavy and shocking wave of news is approaching your doorstep. To the ordinary eye, or to the conscious mind still tangled in old grief, this revelation might initially disguise itself as something heartbreaking. It involves the very person who caused you unimaginable pain, the one who left deep, invisible scars etched into the architecture of your spirit, the one whose name, even now, carries a specific weight that settles somewhere between your ribs and refuses to fully dissolve. But you must look beyond the surface of this event, far beyond the first emotional reaction that will rise instinctively in your chest, because what is actually happening is not a continuation of your suffering. What is actually unfolding is a massive, divine intervention, something larger than human orchestration, something that was always written. Heaven has officially stepped in. The individual who brought you so much agony is no longer going to be a shadow cast across the landscape of your life. The universe, with its perfect and unhurried timing, is forcefully revealing a path to them, a karmic road that they have been entirely blind to for so long. A road they could not see because they were too consumed by their own illusions, too comfortable in the damage they were causing, too armored by their own unhealed wounds to ever glance downward and notice the trail of destruction they were leaving behind. But the universe sees everything. It accounts for everything. Not a single tear falls without being recorded, and not a single act of cruelty goes without eventual reckoning. They are now being redirected away from your energy field entirely, and while this sudden, forceful shift might feel chaotic or overwhelming at first, while your nervous system might interpret the change as yet another wave of loss, your deep intuition is already recognizing it for what it truly is. A magnificent liberation. A door swinging open that you did not even realize had been locked. You are finally being set free. For the longest time, you carried the heavy, invisible burden of their actions on your back as though it were your own baggage to manage. You wore a brave mask so convincingly that even the people who loved you most did not always know how close to collapse you were standing. You forced yourself to smile through the lingering trauma, to laugh at the right moments, to nod when people told you that time heals everything, even when time felt like it was moving through thick concrete. And in the quiet, unguarded moments, in the dark between midnight and morning when the performance was finally over, you wondered in the most private corners of your heart whether the aching void inside your chest was simply a permanent life sentence. Whether this was simply what you were meant to carry forever. But I need you to understand a beautiful cosmic secret that the noise of daily life has been drowning out for far too long. Your agonizing endurance was never just a meaningless punishment. It was never random suffering handed to you by an indifferent universe. Every single tear you shed because of that person, every desperate, exhausted moment you spent staring up at the stars and asking why you had to suffer this specific kind of pain, was actively and purposefully sculpting your spirit into something extraordinary. The universe does not put its most beloved souls through fire simply for the sake of destruction. It puts them through fire because certain qualities, depth, empathy, unshakable inner strength, the ability to love without losing yourself, cannot be assembled any other way. They can only be forged. Think about it this way, and sit with this truth for a moment. If the ultimate, divine love of your life had walked into your world while you were still chained to the trauma of your past, while your wounds were still raw, while your self-worth was still quietly bleeding out, while your idea of love was still shaped entirely by the distorted version you had been handed, the sheer weight and purity of this new connection would have completely crushed you. You would not have been able to receive it. You would have flinched at the softness of it, mistaken the gentleness for weakness, pushed away the consistency because it felt unfamiliar and therefore suspicious. The universe, in its profound wisdom, understood this before you did. It had to put you through a necessary, non-negotiable period of waiting, not to punish you, but to prepare you. You were not just sitting idly inside your pain, watching life pass you by. You were being forged. You were being made ready. You were being slowly, carefully, divinely shaped into someone fully capable of holding a magnificent, once-in-a-lifetime bond without dropping it out of fear. Look at the absolute beauty of who you have become. Look honestly and without the habitual self-criticism you have grown so accustomed to reaching for. You have cultivated a fierce emotional depth that most people spend entire lifetimes trying to access and never quite reach. You have developed a patience that is not passive resignation but active, grounded trust. You have grown a boundary so strong, so lovingly constructed around the truth of your own worth, that you will never again silently accept the kind of toxic love that slowly drained the color from your life and made you question whether you were the problem. That radical readiness, that newly reconstructed version of you standing quietly in your own power, is the exact reason heaven is now completely removing your past abuser from your timeline. The stage is not just being rearranged, it is being entirely cleared. New scenery, new light, a new act beginning. And because this massive, long-standing blockage is being removed, the atmospheric pressure of your entire existence is drastically shifting in ways you may not yet be able to fully name or articulate. You might not see the physical proof of your ultimate reward just yet. You may still look around at your daily life and see what appears to be the same ordinary landscape you have always inhabited. But you are undoubtedly feeling something, a bizarre, unexplainable sense of quiet peace mixed with a strange fluttering, electric anticipation that hums somewhere just beneath your skin. Do not dismiss this as a trick of your imagination or the nervous system reaching for hope, because hope is safer than despair. This is your soul's heightened awareness operating at a frequency the logical mind cannot fully access. This is your deepest inner knowing, detecting, before your eyes can confirm it, that the tides have permanently turned in your favor. Because somewhere out there, completely parallel to your journey, completely unaware of you and yet inexplicably connected to you, the soul that was always meant for you is experiencing a profound and unstoppable awakening of their own. They have been living a life they previously convinced themselves was perfectly fine. Not extraordinary, not deeply fulfilling, but fine, and fine, for a long time, felt like enough. They built routines. They maintained relationships that were comfortable if not transformative. They moved through their days with a competent, practiced ease, filling the hours with productivity and distraction and the low hum of a life that functioned without ever truly singing. And for a while, this managed existence felt acceptable. But suddenly, as heaven clears the path on your end and removes the obstacles that stood between your two timelines, something has shifted dramatically in their interior world. A crushing, unexpected wave of incompleteness is washing over them, arriving not with warning but with the blunt force of absolute, undeniable truth. They are sitting in their familiar surroundings, in the same rooms they have always occupied, engaging in the same routines that have always structured their days, yet they are being haunted by the undeniable sensation that a massive, vital piece of their universe has gone mysteriously, terrifyingly missing. They cannot point to what changed. They cannot blame a specific event or a specific loss. The longing has no visible origin, which makes it somehow more relentless. You understand this canyon of inexplicable longing more intimately than anyone, because you survived the exact same emotional starvation during your own darkest days, that hollow, expansive feeling of reaching for something you cannot name but absolutely need. The superficial distractions and shallow conversations that used to effortlessly occupy their time now leave them feeling entirely suffocated and starved for something with actual weight and truth. The company they keep, which used to feel sufficient, now highlights rather than soothes the depth of what they are missing. A quiet restlessness has moved in and refuses to be evicted. The universe is systematically and lovingly dismantling their illusions, deliberately making space within the walls of their life for your arrival, because your arrival will require room, real room, room that currently exists in their heart but has not yet been consciously recognized as vacancy. In the intensely quiet moments of their day, in the early morning before the noise begins, in the stillness just before sleep claims them, an invisible, magnetic warmth grazes against their spirit. It is the phantom energy of your soul wrapping gently around theirs across the unseen distance between you. It feels entirely alien to the emotional landscape of their current existence, yet despite its strangeness, it carries with it a profound and inexplicable sense of safety. Not excitement, necessarily, not yet, but safety. The deep, cellular recognition of something trustworthy, something ancient. This haunting comfort refuses to leave them alone, pressing quietly against their awareness each time they grow still enough to notice. They are beginning to ask themselves the questions that, once asked sincerely, cannot be unasked. They are finally whispering into the dark. Is there a deeper meaning to all of this that I have been entirely missing? Why do I feel this magnetic pull toward an energy I cannot even see or locate or explain? These profound, disorienting inquiries are the cosmic compass needles spinning frantically, aligning themselves toward your true north. The invisible thread tethering your deepest heartbeat to theirs is rapidly, undeniably tightening. But you must understand a critical cosmic law regarding what happens in the space between now and that destined meeting, because this between space is where so many people unknowingly interfere with their own blessings. As this magnificent reunion inches closer to your physical reality, you will be tested, not maliciously, not cruelly, but tested, the way all things of great worth are tested before they arrive. The chaotic noise of your life will be asked to fade into silence, and the question the universe is placing before you is whether you can allow it to. If you remain entirely focused on the heartbreaking news of your past, if you are frantically scanning for signs, rehearsing old wounds, drowning in anxiety over the person who hurt you and wondering what their karmic consequences mean for your story, you will completely miss the gentle, quiet arrival of your ultimate truth. Your greatest blessing does not announce itself with trumpets. It does not kick down your door with drama and spectacle. It carries no ego, no performance, no need to prove itself. It is patient in the way that only something truly certain of its own existence can afford to be. It waits, with extraordinary grace, for you to cultivate enough internal peace, enough internal silence, to finally notice its gentle, steady presence hovering just at the edge of your awareness. The universe is tenderly maneuvering you toward a sanctuary of inner stillness, not a place you travel to, but a state you inhabit, where you can simply and peacefully know, without requiring external confirmation, that your destiny is secure, that it has always been secure. That none of what you endured was ever capable of canceling what was always written for you. When the karmic dust finally settles, when the noise clears and the path ahead becomes unmistakably illuminated, and this destined soul steps into your physical dimension, the moment of recognition will absolutely defy every reasonable expectation you have been holding. It will not feel like meeting someone new. It will not carry the awkward, effortful energy of two strangers trying to build something from nothing, carefully presenting curated versions of themselves and hoping the performance is enough. It will hit you with the force of an ancient remembrance. A deep, cellular nostalgia for a bond that has not just existed in this lifetime but across lifetimes, something that lives in your bones before it lives in your memory. You are not meeting a stranger. You are remembering a soul. You are recognizing, with every level of your being simultaneously, someone who was always yours. This cellular knowing does not require logical proof, and it is entirely immune to logical doubt. It cannot be manufactured by wishful thinking, and it cannot be faked by chemistry alone. It simply exists, the way gravity exists, not because you believe in it, but because it is operating whether you acknowledge it or not. It is the kind of knowing that bypasses the part of your mind that has been burned before and grown cautious, and speaks instead directly to the part of you that existed before the burning, the part that was never touched by the damage, the eternal part that has been quietly waiting all along. In a fraction of a second, the agonizing years of accumulated pain, the complex trauma left behind by the one who hurt you, the oceans of distance you have crossed to arrive at this moment, will instantly evaporate into nothingness. Not because they never happened, but because in the presence of this truth, they will finally reveal their purpose, and in revealing their purpose, they will release their grip on you permanently. You will feel an overwhelming, grounding warmth rushing through your entire body like light moving through water, the absolute, full, body sensation of finally dropping your heavy armor and walking, for the first time in longer than you can clearly remember, into your true home. And then the physical embrace will happen. That universe, stopping, monumental meeting of two bodies and two spirits will not merely be two arms wrapping around a body out of social habit or polite affection. It will be the ultimate, silent, embodied validation from the cosmos that you survived for a reason. That all of it, every excruciating moment of it, had been quietly building toward exactly this. In the heavy, beautiful, unhurried weight of that embrace, every single tear you cried when you thought no one was watching, every desperate question you whispered into the night sky when the pain became too large for your chest to contain, every moment you wondered if the love you were capable of giving would ever find somewhere worthy to land, all of it will be instantly, completely answered. Not in words, not in explanation, but in the pure, wordless language of finally arriving. Time itself will seem to pause and honor the moment, recognizing the magnitude of what endurance built, and the purity of the heart that never stopped believing even when belief felt like the most irrational act available. But hear this clearly, my precious one, because this is where the story most people tell themselves ends, and where your true story actually begins. Do not mistake this earth-shattering reunion for the finale of what you have been waiting for. Do not close the book at the embrace and assume that the destination has been reached and the journey is over. This grounding, universe, validating moment is merely the glorious, long, awaited opening chapter of your shared existence, the first sentence of an epic that will take an entire lifetime to fully unfold. What breathes actual, sustaining life into the silence after the hug, the magnificent, ordinary, extraordinary daily unraveling of two deeply transformed people finally walking side by side through both the extraordinary and the mundane. That is the true work being written by the stars. The morning conversations, the shared meals, the way they look at you when you are not performing, when you are simply, unreservedly yourself. The slow, profound discovery of being known completely and chosen anyway. That is where the real gift lives. Rest deeply in this truth today. Let it settle into the places where the doubt has been living. Heaven has handled what needed handling. The path ahead is being cleared with a thoroughness and a love that surpasses anything you could orchestrate on your own, and your true, beautiful, long, promised beginning is no longer a distant hope on a far horizon. It is actively breaking through. It is already in motion. It is, even now, moving toward you with the absolute certainty of something that was always meant to arrive. You were always worth the wait. You were always the destination, not the detour. And now, finally, the universe is delivering on every silent promise it made you in the dark.